to SciComm with Mel, where we talk all things science. I'll be your host today. My name's Mel. Listeners, it's nice to meet you. If there's ever a topic you want to explore, drop it in the comments. Okay? Thanks. Now, enough of that. Let's dive into something cool. We're going to talk about a new blood test that could change everything we know about detecting pancreatic cancer. Okay, so here's the thing about pancreatic cancer: it's deadly. We're talking about one of the most difficult to work with cancers out there. More than 50,000 people. That's right, 50,000 people are going to lose their lives to this disease just this year. And here's what makes it so tricky. By the time doctors usually catch it, it's often just too late to do much about it. The really frustrating part is that there aren't any obvious signs, Your body doesn't exactly wave a big red flag saying, "Hey, something's wrong here." Right now, doctors are kind of working with their hands tied behind their backs, if you know what I mean. They've got these really limited tools, mostly biopsies and imaging tests, and it's just not enough. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but the needle is really tiny, and, well, you can't even see the haystack properly. Okay, so I know you're saying, "Thanks, Mel, for making me feel so bad about something we can't do anything about." But listeners, here's where I come back at you. There's this new test called PacMann, and I've got to tell you, it's pretty clever. You know how in the old video game, Pac-Man goes around chomping things up? Well, that's actually where they got the name from, and trust me, it makes total sense. See, what the scientists discovered is that pancreatic cancer has these special proteins. We call them proteases, and they're like little Pac-Men themselves. They go around chomping up the tissues around them, making space for tumors to grow. Pretty wild, right? Now, here's where it gets really cool. The team created this thing called a protease-activated magnetic nanosensor. That's where PacMann comes from, by the way. And what they did was, they basically built these tiny magnetic beads with these glowing molecules attached to them. So when they put these beads in blood from someone with pancreatic cancer, those chomping proteins I mentioned, they start breaking off the glowing parts from the beads. Then, and this is the really clever bit, they use a magnet to pull away the leftover beads, and what's left behind just glows. Like, you can literally see it under normal light. And here's the best part. It only needs one drop of blood. Just one. No fancy equipment, no complicated procedures. It's just this simple, elegant solution that could really change everything about detecting pancreatic cancer. Now, I've got some really exciting numbers to share with you about how well this test actually works. The research team put PacMann through its paces with a pretty substantial study. They tested blood samples from 178 people in total. And these weren't just random samples. They carefully chose people who either definitely had pancreatic cancer or definitely didn't have it. And the results? Well, they're pretty impressive. PacMann got it right 90% of the time. I mean, that's huge. When you break it down, out of 55 people who had pancreatic cancer, the test correctly spotted it in 40 of them. And get this, out of 123 people who didn't have cancer, it correctly identified 120 of them as cancer-free. Now, you might be thinking, well, it missed some cases, right? And yeah, it did. But here's the thing. When you compare this to what we've got right now, which is basically waiting until symptoms show up, which is often way too late, this is a game changer. Like, we're talking about catching this really aggressive cancer early enough to actually do something about it. And what makes these results even more exciting is that this test managed to catch cases early on. You know what I mean? It's not just picking up advanced cases that would be obvious anyway. It's catching them when there's still time to intervene. So, what's next for PacMann? Well, the team isn't just sitting back and celebrating. They're already pushing forward with even bigger plans. Right now, they're working on validating these results with a much larger group of people, to really make sure these amazing results hold up across the board. And here's what's really got me excited. They're actually looking to start clinical trials soon. I mean, just think about what this could mean. The researchers have this amazing vision where PacMann could become just as routine as getting your annual mammogram. Like, you'd just go in for your regular checkup, and boom, one quick blood test that could genuinely save your life. But you know what's even better about this whole thing? The test itself is fairly simple to run. You don't need any fancy, high-tech equipment or some super advanced facility to make it work. This means lowered costs for all. It means this test could potentially reach people who don't have access to the more expensive hospitals with state-of-the-art equipment. Think about all those underserved communities or places that just don't have the resources of major medical centers. This could be a real game changer for them. I mean, we're talking about bringing potentially life-saving early detection to people who might otherwise never have access to this kind of screening. That's just incredible when you think about it. Okay, wow. What a breakthrough we've covered today on SciComm with Mel. You know, sometimes in science we get these moments that just, well, they take your breath away, and this is one of them. Okay, so I know I bummed you all out at the beginning. I hope I cheered you up towards the end. If you're just as fascinated by this kind of medical breakthrough as I am, you're definitely in the right place for more science news. Remember to follow SciComm with Mel wherever you get your podcasts, and oh, don't forget to drop your science questions in the comments. Okay? Maybe we'll explore your topic in our next episode. Till next time, keep being curious and, yeah, stay awesome, everyone. This has been SciComm with Mel, where we make science actually fun to talk about.